Death to all Haleys. And their pilots. Now he's dead enough. Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, to a very aggressively played match on Berlin in this case, Italian Leopard 1A5. It is the copy-pasta version of the German Leopard 1A5 for all intents and purposes, and we are using our speed from the spawn to get under the guns of the sniper ridgeline from the enemies that have not yet established itself, to use then the terrain to get to the Reichstag without getting shot at once. That is on Berlin one of the main factors for the success in this battle. It's not so much about this tank, although I'll talk about this tank at the later stages of the video. It's more about how to use this position and how to plan your battle, and this then allows me to get a somewhat acceptable result, if I may say so myself. So here we have a very lucky T-55M1 that by sheer ignorance survived. Oh no! Anyway, let's continue, and if you look at the minimap, 2/3 of my team are on our sniper ridgeline. That both pisses me off, but also encourages me to farm the enemy hard, which you can see aren't there yet. But this is where you have this frontline camping position. It's an advantageous position where in theory you can establish some crossfire, where you are a literal thorn in the side of the enemy, and at some point this gets rewarded with a nice chance to get your first kill on an enemy British Challenger Mark III. Thank you. And you also have to give the enemy team time to advance, to get into position, and lo and behold, we have here a Bradley. The changes to hull break mean that he survives the first shot. He's busy damage controlling. Second shot disables the gun, and that also should have been a hull break in my opinion, but I could also switch to hash or aim a bit better to the right hand side, but in the heat of battle, who's perfect? Now, again, I think I made my point here that this position was established by an aggressive push that I got rewarded so far, and now I must not throw it. Thank you, Gaijin, for that hitbox. That makes me really happy. Doesn't really matter, the L-44 got rid of the problem. I didn't realize it at that specific second, but you still could see the kill message. Now, is there still something? Yeah, let's get a quick T-55M1 snack. And then I realized that I need to make room here for the Type 74F, because he is a second gun if I get disabled. Talking about being disabled, I really crippled hard here this, I think it's an IT-1, but he still could get behind the building despite being tracked. Sadly, I can't finish him off, doesn't really matter. I don't want to stay here forever though, as nice as this position is. You need to find the right balance between aggression and just holding your point, and if the battle dictates it, or the rest of your team, and you can't really handle the entire enemy push, as an example, you have to also retreat. Here I smoke up, and I use a new game mechanic to attach the tow cable to a tank wreck, in this case the T-55AM, and get him out of the way. I also, in theory, could use him as cover, but that's not really the point here. That allows me to get into the position to hopefully farm in some more enemies. So I think at this point you could already see where I'm going. A little bit of a spoiler, there is still a tank behind the Reichstag, where I'm currently on the front. He's behind that. And I tried to smoke him out, but the Type 74 that was with me then cleared him out for me, and so I then made a little bit of a different approach to the rest of the battle. Again, let's talk about the Leopard 1A5. In the Italian tech tree, it's a little bit different from the German one in that it is not folded with the predecessor Leopard A1A1. It is folded with the German one, but in the Italian tech tree, it comes after the predecessor, which is the OF40 Mark IIA, and the successor to the Leopard 1A5. Now in the tech tree is the Ariete P. So, is it good? Is it worth it? Well, first of all, the main difference to the OF40 MTCA is that it has thermal imaging, which is really nice. And you get more and more night battles, more and more matches where there is sunset or sunrise, where there are a lot of corners of the map still in the darkness. So if you research it, you have definitely more capabilities. The rest of the firepower, mobility, protection, gun handling are very similar to a lot of the Western NATO MBTs at around this battle rating. So it's nothing really special like the Centauro Roma that has, the charm of being a wheeled tank destroyer with a top speed of 110 kilometers per hour. No, you have kind of average mobility. That's not bad, it's just, standard. And I've played so many tanks like this already. So I now want to go through the statistics for all of you that are not so familiar with this. New players that now change here to the Western NATO after trying out the Chinese or the Russian / Soviet tech tree. We have a very standard 105mm L7A3 cannon. You have 55 rounds of ammunition, and you have a rate of fire for an fully trained ACE qualification, which I use here as the standard for comparison, of 6.7 seconds. You have a turret traverse, again with ACE qualification, of 24 degrees per second, 9 degrees of gun depression, and 20 degrees of gun elevation. The gun elevation speed, though, is only 4.5 degrees per second, and that gives it a really sluggish feeling compared to the rest of the statistics. So the gun is very nice, very standard. You fire your standard heat FS from stock. You have then also a hash as a tier 1 modification. Another tier 1 modification is the DM23 APFSDS round, which you should research first. It's the same that you get on the XM1, for example, that sits at battle rating 9.3 as a US premium. 337mm of penetration with a muzzle velocity of 1455 meters per second, 195mm of penetration at 60 degrees angles of attack, so very good normalization, but it doesn't really work versus the upper frontal glazes of surprise, Russian / Soviet MBTs in an up tier in particular, but you still can disable the gun breaches, the turret ring snipes, or the driver's hatch, or the lower glazes, or the side shots. You can fire through bushes, trees, fences, even certain buildings without the shell losing a lot of penetration or prematurely detonating, like the DM12 or DM501, the heat and hash round respectively. As a tier 4 upgrade, you then get the DM33 with 408mm of penetration and 236mm of penetration versus 60 degrees angles of attack, with the same muzzle velocity of 1455 meters per second. Those were quite a few numbers. Now let's relax with a little bit of mobility statistics. Top speed 65 kilometers per hour. In reverse, it's still a whopping 25 kilometers per hour, so very good getting into position and getting out it. You're supported by nearly 20 horsepower per ton. It's a bit below this, 830 horsepower for a 42.5 ton tank. It's nice, but obviously that comes at a price of the armor. This was when everybody thought heat FS and darts are uncounterable by any sort of reasonable amount of steel armor protection. So the lower glazes is a mere 50mm, the upper glazes is a mere 70mm. The turret is really thin with 65 and 45mm. Turret ring is only 40mm. There is some add-on armor, also some side skirts, but the sight in general is only 30mm, so you're you very easy to be disabled by SPA or outright killed if they get your flank. So you live and die by getting the gun on target first. Your stabilizer, your reload, your ammunition, they really support this. You are a glass cannon, like so many other Western MBTs. There are people that absolutely fancy this, that absolutely like this, and this tank is no exception to this rule. But I think, you know, for me personally, I have played through so many tech trees already. I have played very similar tanks over and over again. This is nothing new. For the Italians, this is nice as a little bit of a support for a lineup. This is really nice when it comes to then the thermal imaging, but penetration wise, firepower wise, protection wise, mobility wise, it is nothing new, nothing amazing. And here we can observe the amazing hitboxes through the tank traps. I couldn't get the AP FSDS round through. It got absorbed by some invisible steel beams. So we now got 9 kills. The team is with me. We have map control. There are still some people on the sniper ridgeline. They have not really participated in this match, and because of here this really bad hit registration, I got denied my double ace, and again the shell got absorbed. Gachin really needs to get their quality control going. Anyway, with this match, I got the Survivor anti-heavy metal hero, 1 kill assist, 9 kills, and that was a really beautiful battle. So that's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this match and talked through the statistics and my verdict on this tank, which is a bit mixed depending on where you stand. It's definitely not a bad tank, but also not really amazing. And yeah, that's it for me today. Give this video a like, give it a subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.